Security! Get this ghetto trash out of my store! Marcus Rivera's voice cracked like a whip across Meridian's marble floors. But words weren't enough. He grabbed Maya Johnson's leather portfolio and hurled it, watching papers explode across the pristine white tiles. Business cards scattered under Louboutin displays. Documents slid beneath Hermes handbags. Maya stood frozen in her simple charcoal blazer as her belongings became debris. Shoppers gasped. Phones emerged. Someone whispered, "Oh my God!" Marcus stepped closer, his breath hot with satisfaction. "You people think you can just waltz in here like you own the place?" Maya's dark eyes never left his face. Her voice stayed deadly calm. "I need to speak with a corporation." His laughter bounced off crystal chandeliers like shards of ice. "Corporate? Lady, you can't even afford our clearance rack." Have you ever watched someone dig their own professional grave so enthusiastically they brought their own shovel? Marcus Rivera was just getting started. The laughter felt too good to stop. "Jennifer!" he called to his assistant manager, voice dripping with theatrical authority. "Come see what walked into our store today." Jennifer Wells hurried over, her heels clicking against marble like a countdown timer. She took one look at Maya, still standing calmly amid her scattered papers, and smirked. "Oh, honey," Jennifer cooed with fake sympathy. "Are you lost?" The bus station's 3 blocks that way. Fresh giggles rippled through the gathering crowd. Maya bent to collect her documents, but Marcus stepped forward, his Italian leather shoe deliberately covering her American Express card. "Whoa there, fast fingers," he said, grinding his heel slightly. "Let's see some ID first. We've had problems with certain types. Using stolen cards." The digital wall clock read 2:48 p.m. 12 minutes until Maya's meeting. A customer near the cosmetics counter had started live streaming on Instagram. At Chi-Town shoppers' viewer count climbed 847, 963, 1,204 people watching in real time. "This is insane," whispered the live streamer. "The manager's going full racist on this poor woman." But Marcus was building to his crescendo. He crouched down, making eye contact with Maya as she knelt gathering papers. His voice dropped to a stage whisper that carried perfectly across the marble acoustics. "Let me guess your story, sweetheart. You found some rich lady's purse, thought you'd try your luck before she cancels the cards?" Maya's hands never stopped moving, efficiently stacking documents. A first-class boarding pass from New York remained face down. Her elegant Cartier watch caught afternoon sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. Jennifer cackled. "Marcus, you're terrible, but probably right." "I'm always right about people," Marcus announced, standing and dusting off his knees like he'd touched something dirty. 20 years in retail. You develop an eye. He turned to address his growing audience, employees clustering closer, customers slowing their shopping to watch the show. "See, folks, this is exactly what's wrong with society today." People trying to live above their station. His voice gained confidence with each word. "Look at her, probably borrowed that blazer from someone's closet, thinking she can fool us." The security cameras captured everything from 3 angles. Maya's phone, tucked discreetly against her purse, recorded audio with crystal clarity. 2:49 p.m. A teenager near the jewelry counter snorted with laughter. She really thought she could pull it off. Marcus beamed like a stand-up comedian hitting his punchlines. Right? The audacity. He examined Maya's simple gold wedding band, shaking his head in theatrical disbelief. $20 says that ring came from a pawn shop, he announced to his audience. Any takers? More laughter. Someone applauded. Maya remained kneeling, organizing papers with surgical precision. A Meridian corporate ID badge lay among the documents, face down and unnoticed. "Ma'am," Marcus continued his performance, "I'm going to save us both some time. Whatever little scheme you're running here, it ends now." He gestured grandly toward the exit. Security's on the way, so let's make this easy. Jennifer nodded sagely. We should call the police, too. Identity theft is serious business. Excellent point. Marcus snapped his fingers like he'd discovered fire. Jerome! Where's my security guard? Jerome Washington appeared from behind a pillar of designer scarves, his face conflicted. As one of only 3 black employees in the store, he felt the weight of the moment differently than his laughing colleagues. Sir? Jerome's voice carried reluctance. Escort our guest to the door. She's clearly confused about which stores are in her price range. The live stream chat exploded. This is disgusting. Someone call corporate. Bon, recording this for evidence. Manager needs to be fired. But the in-store audience ate it up. A woman in designer sunglasses leaned to her friend. Finally, someone willing to enforce standards. 2:51 p.m. 9 minutes. Maya stood slowly, her scattered papers now neatly stacked. The American Express Centurion card, black titanium, invitation only remained, hidden beneath Marcus's shoe. Sir, she said quietly, I believe there's been a misunderstanding. Marcus threw his head back and howled. A misunderstanding. Lady, the only misunderstanding is you thinking you belong here. He turned to his audience like a game show host. Can you believe this? The crowd laughed on cue. Even some customers who'd initially looked uncomfortable found themselves smiling. Jennifer pulled out her phone, snapping photos. Girl, you need to accept reality. This isn't your world. Look around. Marcus swept his arms wide, indicating the gleaming displays of luxury goods. See all this? This is for people who can actually afford it, not people who... He paused dramatically, looking Maya up and down. Clearly shop at discount stores. 2:52 p.m. Jerome shifted uncomfortably. Something about Maya seemed familiar, but he couldn't place it. Her calm demeanor, the quality of her simple clothes, the way she moved with quiet confidence despite the humiliation. Marcus, Jerome said carefully, maybe you should do your job, Marcus snapped, unless you want to join her at the unemployment office. The live stream had 2,847 viewers now. Comments poured in faster than anyone could read them. Some defended Maya, others joined the mockery. Maya checked her watch, the Cartier clearly visible now to anyone paying attention. But Marcus was too drunk on power and laughter to notice details. You know what? Marcus announced to his captive audience. I'm feeling generous today. I'll give you exactly 60 seconds to gather your little papers and leave quietly. Otherwise, we will involve the authorities. He began counting down theatrically. 60, 59, 58. The crowd joined in. 57, 56. Maya continued organizing her documents with methodical calm. Her fingers brushed the sealed envelope marked Confidential Meridian Restructuring. Her corporate ID badge remained hidden beneath other papers. 45, 44. Jennifer started a slow clap. Other employees joined in. 30, 29. Maya stood, her portfolio now perfectly organized. She looked directly at Marcus, then at the security camera mounted above the customer service desk. 10, 9, 8, 2:53 p.m. 7 minutes until her meeting. Maya smiled. 7, 6, 5. The countdown reached its crescendo as Marcus Rivera savored every second. His audience hung on each number like New Year's Eve in reverse. 4, 3, 2. Maya Johnson remained perfectly still, portfolio clutched against her chest. 1. Time's up, princess. Marcus clapped his hands together like a satisfied director. Jerome, please escort our wannabe shopper to the exit. But Jerome hesitated. Something about this woman didn't match Marcus's narrative. Her posture, her breathing, the expensive cut of her simple clothes. Sir, maybe we should... Should what? Marcus's voice cracked like a whip. Show sympathy for someone trying to scam us? He turned to his audience, arms spread wide. This is exactly what's wrong with retail today. We're too soft. Applause erupted from the gathered crowd. Someone whistled approval. 2:54 p.m. 6 minutes. The live stream exploded to 3,847 viewers. At Chi-Town, shoppers' phones shook with excitement as comments flooded the screen faster than anyone could read them. Local news channels were already picking up the story. Marcus pulled out his phone, waving it theatrically. You know what? I'm calling my district manager right now. Tom Phillips needs to see this. He dialed with exaggerated motions, putting the call on speaker for maximum drama. Marcus? Tom's voice crackled through the phone. What's the emergency? Tom, you won't believe this, Marcus began, pacing in front of Maya like a prosecutor. We've got a situation here. Woman trying to use stolen credit cards, probably causing the joint for a bigger theft later. Jennifer nodded vigorously, encouraging him to continue. She's refusing to leave, acting like she owns the place. Classic entitlement behavior. Tom's voice came through clearly. Handle it how you see fit, Marcus. Zero tolerance for fraud. You heard the man, Marcus announced to his audience. The crowd murmured approval like a Greek chorus. Maya finally spoke, her voice cutting through the noise like a blade. May I suggest you call Meridian Corporate instead? The suggestion triggered explosive laughter from Marcus. He doubled over, slapping his knee theatrically. Corporate? Corporate? Tears streamed down his face. Lady, corporate doesn't take calls from shoplifters. Jennifer was recording now, circling Maya like a predator. Girl, you are completely delusional. You think corporations care about your feelings? The teenage customer from earlier chimed in. She probably thinks she deserves special treatment. An older woman in designer sunglasses added, Finally, someone with standards. 2:55 p.m. 5 minutes. Marcus was building to his finale. He grabbed a $200 silk scarf from a nearby display, waving it like a victory flag. You see this? This costs more than your monthly rent. Yet you waltzed in here thinking you could afford it? He held it close to her face, his voice dripping with mock sympathy. Smell that? That's quality. That's class. That's everything you're not. The crowd roared with laughter. Someone actually applauded. Another customer pulled out their phone to record. Jerome's discomfort was growing by the second. He'd seen the CEO's photo in corporate newsletters sent to all security staff. Maya's face looked increasingly familiar, but surely it couldn't be. Marcus, Jerome tried again, his voice urgent. I really think we should... You think too much, Marcus snapped, wheeling on him. Just do your job before I find someone who will. The threat hung in the air. Jerome stepped back, conflicted between duty and growing certainty. Jennifer had moved to Maya's other side, creating a perfect circle of humiliation. Sweetie, let me give you some free advice. There are more stores suited to your demographic. Target's having a sale this week. Fresh laughter rippled through the crowd like a wave. 2:56 p.m., 4 minutes. Maya's phone buzzed with an incoming call. The caller ID was visible to anyone watching closely. Board Chairman Robert Carter. She declined it calmly, the motion revealing her American Express Centurion card black titanium, invitation only, unmistakable to anyone who knew luxury. Jerome's eyes widened. He'd seen that card exactly once before, when the previous CEO had made a store visit. Marcus noticed the phone gesture and pounced like a cat on wounded prey. Oh, screening calls now? Let me guess, bill collectors trying to repo your fake jewelry? He lunged for her phone, but Maya pulled it back with fluid grace. The motion was so smooth, so practiced, it spoke of boardroom confidence. Marcus grabbed the customer service microphone, normally used for store announcements. "Attention, Meridian shoppers," his amplified voice echoed through the three-story space. "We have a very special guest today." Shoppers on the second and third floors gathered at the mezzanine railings, peering down like Roman spectators at the Colosseum. "Someone who thinks she can fool trained retail professionals into believing she belongs in luxury retail." His voice carried theatrical flourish, each word designed for maximum humiliation. "Ladies and gentlemen, may I present our wannabe customer who probably can't afford a candy bar but demands to shop alongside actual paying customers." Thunderous applause erupted from all three levels. Maya stood in the center of it all, an island of calm in a sea of mockery. 2:57 p.m. 3 minutes. The live stream had hit 5,299 viewers. Comments poured in like digital rain. "This is insane." Someone called corporate now. "Managers about to get destroyed." "Plot twist coming." Jennifer leaned close to Maya's ear, her voice a venomous stage whisper. "Honey, just admit you're completely out of your league and walk away. Save yourself what's left of your dignity." Marcus set down the microphone and pulled out his personal phone. "You know what? I'm taking pictures for our security files. Future reference for other stores in the chain." Flash, flash, flash. Maya's face in each photo, calm, composed, almost meditative in its serenity. "Perfect," Marcus grinned like a predator. "Now every Meridian location will have your picture. You're officially banned from luxury retail." The store phone began ringing insistently. 3 lines lit up simultaneously. Jennifer ignored them all, too focused on the live entertainment. 2 minutes. Maya finally moved. She walked calmly to the customer service desk, her heels clicking with quiet authority. The crowd parted naturally, expecting her complete surrender. Instead, she placed her manicured hand on a small appointment placard that read, "Maya Johnson, CEO, store visit scheduled 3 p.m. Jerome saw it first. His face went absolutely white. "Oh no," he whispered to himself. "Oh no, oh no, oh no." But Marcus was completely oblivious, still riding the high of crowd approval. Finally giving up? Smart choice. "Though I have to say, you've provided absolutely excellent entertainment value for our real customers." Maya opened her portfolio with surgical precision and removed a sealed envelope marked "Meridian Restructuring, Confidential." The store phone continued its urgent ringing. Marcus finally answered, clearly annoyed by the interruption to his show. "Meridian flagship Marcus speaking. This better be important." "Marcus!" The voice exploded through the phone so loudly that everyone within 20 feet could hear every word. "Where the hell is the CEO? Her meeting was supposed to start 2 minutes ago." Marcus blinked in complete confusion, his confident smirk faltering for the first time. "CEO? What CEO? Sir, there's no CEO scheduled here today, just some crazy woman trying to scam us." The line went dead with a sharp click. 2:59 p.m. 1 minute. Maya looked directly into the security camera mounted above the customer service desk. Her smile was small, knowing, and absolutely terrifying in its quiet confidence. The countdown was finally over. 3 p.m. exactly. Maya Johnson placed her Meridian corporate ID badge face up on the marble counter with the soft click of absolute authority. The laminated card gleamed under crystal chandeliers. Maya Johnson, Chief Executive Officer, Meridian Luxury Retail. Silence crashed over the store like a tsunami. Marcus Rivera's mouth fell open mid-laugh, the sound dying in his throat like a strangled bird. His face drained of color so quickly he looked like he might faint. His hands shook as he gripped the counter for support. Jerome closed his eyes and whispered a prayer to whatever gods protected security guards who'd almost made career-ending mistakes. Jennifer's phone slipped from her trembling fingers, clattering against marble with a sound like breaking bones. The live stream chat exploded into digital chaos. Holy she's the CEO. Manager is so fired. This is legendary. I can't breathe. Plot twist of the century. Maya's voice cut through the stunned silence with surgical precision. I believe you were expecting me for the 3 p.m. performance review. Marcus stumbled backward, knocking into a display of designer handbags, purses scattered across the floor like his crumbling career prospects. A $4,000 Hermes bag landed at his feet, ironically, exactly what he'd accused Maya of being unable to afford. That's not, he stammered, pointing at the ID badge like it might be a hallucination induced by stress. The customers who'd been laughing and filming moments before now stood frozen in horror. Some were quietly deleting videos from their phones. Others backed slowly toward exits, praying they hadn't been captured clearly on camera. Maya opened her leather portfolio with practiced calm. Every movement was deliberate, controlled, devastating in its precision. The first document she withdrew was her boarding pass first class, LaGuardia to O'Hare, arriving this morning from the quarterly board meeting with investors. American Airlines Flight 447, she noted conversationally. I was reviewing your store's performance metrics at 30,000 feet. The second item was her American Express Centurion card, titanium black and gleaming like a weapon. Maya A. Johnson, engraved in elegant script across metal that required a 7-figure annual income to obtain. Marcus's legs visibly shook. A customer near the jewelry counter gasped audibly. The third document made Marcus's knees buckle. Meridian's Q3 performance reports, with his store's metrics highlighted in angry red ink like bloodstains. Your location, Maya said in the same tone she might use to discuss the weather, is performing 23% below company average in customer satisfaction, the worst performance in our 47-store chain. Marcus tried to speak but only managed a choking sound like someone drowning in their own mistakes. The crowd that had been his enthusiastic audience was now a gallery of witnesses to his professional execution. The teenager who'd mocked Maya was frantically trying to escape through the cosmetics department. The woman in designer sunglasses had gone pale as fresh snow. Maya continued with devastating calm. We've received 47 formal discrimination complaints against this location in the past 6 months. That's more than our other 46 stores combined. She pulled out her phone, the same device Marcus had tried to grab like a common street thief, and showed the screen. Multiple missed calls from board chairman, legal department, crisis management, and CNN business. Funny thing about corporate phones, Maya observed, her voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. They automatically record when you decline a call during scheduled meetings. Every conversation in this store has been documented for the past 15 minutes. Jennifer made a small whimpering sound like a wounded animal. The live stream had 11,847 viewers now. Comments scrolled so fast, they created a blur of digital outrage and amazement. Revenge porn for the soul. Get him, Maya. This is better than Netflix. Someone call 911 for this murder. Maya wasn't finished destroying him. She opened her laptop, a top-of-the-line MacBook Pro that probably cost more than Marcus made in a month, and pulled up real-time analytics. Your store's Yelp rating has dropped 1.3 points in the last hour alone. Our social media monitoring shows 67 negative posts about this location, with a combined reach of 89,000 people and climbing exponentially. She clicked to another tab. Twitter mentions of Meridian discrimination have increased 847% in the past 30 minutes. The hashtag Meridian Shame is trending in Chicago. Marcus finally found his voice, though it came out as a pathetic croak. Ms. Johnson, this is all a terrible misunderstanding. I didn't know who you were. I never would have. Didn't know what? Maya's eyebrow arched with deadly precision, like a surgeon selecting the perfect scalpel. That discrimination is against company policy? That treating customers with dignity is literally paragraph 3 of your employment contract? She clicked to another screen showing internal corporate communications. Or did you mean you didn't know that I personally visit every store unannounced to evaluate management performance? Because that policy was implemented 18 months ago. The sealed envelope marked Confidential Meridian Restructuring remained unopened on the counter, its implications hanging like a guillotine blade over Marcus's career. Jerome stepped forward cautiously, his face a mask of professional concern mixed with personal terror. Ma'am, I sincerely apologize for my role in Jerome. Maya's voice softened slightly, showing the first hint of warmth since her identity was revealed. You hesitated when directed to physically remove me. You showed visible discomfort with the situation. That moral compass is noted in your favor. Relief flooded Jerome's face like sunrise after the longest night. However, Maya continued, her attention laser-focusing back on Marcus, your store manager explicitly ordered you to physically escort a customer from the premises based solely on racial profiling. That requires extensive discussion with HR. The remaining crowd was melting away now like snow in summer. Customers who'd been filming and laughing were quietly deleting evidence and edging toward exits. But at Chi-Town, Shopper held steady, knowing they were documenting a moment that would be studied in business schools for decades. Maya pulled out a folder thick with legal documents, each page representing another nail in Marcus's professional coffin. Marcus Rivera, hired March 15th, 2019, promoted to store manager January 23, 2023, required to complete mandatory diversity and inclusion training, which you've postponed 6 times in 8 months. Marcus's face was the color of old concrete. I can explain those delays. The training, Maya continued mercilessly, that explicitly covers Title VII violations? The comprehensive program that outlines immediate termination for discriminatory behavior? She flipped to another page with the precision of a prosecutor presenting evidence to a jury. Your employment contract, Section 7.3, subsection C, any act of discrimination, harassment, or bias based on race, gender, religion, socioeconomic status, or physical appearance results in immediate termination without severance pay or benefits continuation. Each word hit Marcus like a physical blow. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the store's perfect climate control. Maya's voice remained perfectly level, professional, absolutely terrifying in its calm. The fascinating aspect of today's performance, Marcus, is that it wasn't subtle microaggression requiring legal interpretation. She gestured elegantly to the security cameras positioned throughout the store. 3 angles of high-definition video footage, crystal-clear audio recording. She indicated the papers still scattered on the floor evidence of his initial physical assault on her belongings. Documentation of harassment of customer property. She pointed to the live stream still recording, viewer count climbing past 13,000. Witnessed by thousands of people in real time with permanent digital evidence. Marcus tried one final desperate gambit. I was protecting the store's reputation. We've had problems with people trying to scam us, use stolen cards. Have we? Maya's voice turned to pure ice, colder than a Chicago winter wind. Show me the fraud reports from this location for the past 12 months. Marcus's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. Because according to our comprehensive security data, this store has the second lowest theft rate in our entire 47-location chain. Your problems seem to be entirely selective in nature. The live stream comments had evolved from celebration to pure awe. She came with receipts, literal paper trail receipts. This is surgical. Precision Business School case study. Maya closed her laptop with a soft click that sounded like a judge's gavel. She looked directly at Marcus with eyes that had commanded boardrooms and negotiated billion-dollar deals. "I have one question for you, Marcus." He waited, sweating visibly, his entire career hanging on whatever words came next. "In your professional opinion, should Meridian Luxury Retail continue employing managers who publicly humiliate customers based on racial assumptions and economic prejudice?" The question hung in the air like a noose waiting for a neck. Marcus's voice came out as barely a whisper. "No, ma'am." "I completely agree," Maya said with terrifying simplicity. She reached for the sealed envelope marked "Restructuring," her fingers tracing its edge like she was caressing a weapon. "This contains my recommendations for system-wide policy changes to prevent exactly what occurred here today." Marcus stared at the envelope like it contained his professional death warrant. "Whether those changes include your continued employment depends entirely on how you handle the next 5 minutes of this conversation." The store had gone completely silent except for the soft hum of air conditioning and the distant sound of Michigan Avenue traffic. Even the live stream chat had paused, 14,000 viewers holding their collective breath. Maya checked her Cartier watch with deliberate precision. "Your formal performance review begins now." Maya opened her laptop and rotated the screen toward Marcus with the precision of a prosecutor presenting damning evidence to a jury. "Let's review your store's actual performance metrics, shall we?" The spreadsheet glowed on the 15-inch display like a digital weapon of mass career destruction. Red numbers dominated every column like bloodstains on white marble. Customer satisfaction, 2.7 out of 5 stars. Industry standard is 4.2 inches. Maya's finger traced the numbers with surgical precision. Revenue per square foot, $847 annually. Our top performers average $1,430. Marcus's breathing became shallow and rapid, like a man drowning in his own incompetence. Customer retention rate, 23%. Company average is 67%. Each statistic landed like a physical blow to his solar plexus. And my personal favorite net promoter score, -47. That means customers actively warn friends and family to avoid this location. She clicked to another tab showing social media analytics in real time. Yelp reviews mentioning rude staff or discrimination, 127 in the past 6 months alone. Our next worst location has 8 total. Marcus gripped the counter like his life depended on it. Jennifer had been edging toward the stockroom like a criminal fleeing a crime scene, but Maya's voice stopped her cold. "Jennifer Wells, assistant manager. Your enthusiastic participation today was comprehensive and well documented." Jennifer froze like a deer caught in corporate headlights. "Stay exactly where you are. We'll discuss your professional future shortly." The live stream had exploded to 18,459 viewers. Comments poured in like digital rain. "Get them all." "Clean house Maya." "This is justice served cold." "Business school case study." Maya pulled out her phone and speed-dialed a number with the confidence of someone who could reach anyone, anywhere, instantly. The call connected to the speaker within seconds. "Robert Carter, board chairman." "Robert, Maya here. I'm conducting the Chicago flagship performance review. I need legal, HR, and crisis management at the emergency conference immediately." "Of course." How serious is the situation we're dealing with? Maya's eyes never left Marcus's increasingly pale face. Title VII violation with witnesses, public discrimination with video evidence, viral social media exposure, potential class action lawsuit liability in the millions. A sharp intake of breath crackled through the phone speaker. "Dear God." Connecting the emergency response team now, within 90 seconds, Maya had assembled a corporate war council, General Counsel Patricia Williams, HR Director Michael Torres, and Crisis Management Specialist Sarah Kim. All on speaker, all documenting everything for legal purposes. "Team, I live at the Chicago flagship location. Store manager Marcus Rivera has just provided a textbook example of why our zero-tolerance discrimination policies exist. Patricia Williams's voice crackled through with prosecutorial authority. Maya, are we looking at immediate litigation exposure? Do we need outside counsel? 15 minutes of systematically documented racial profiling, physical harassment of customer property, public humiliation for entertainment, witnessed by thousands via social media live stream. Marcus tried desperately to interrupt. Ms. Johnson, please, if I could just explain my side. Michael, Maya continued, completely ignoring Marcus like he was background noise. Pull Rivera's complete employment file immediately. I want his full training record, performance reviews, and any previous complaints. Already accessing the database, Torres replied efficiently. He's missed 6 mandatory diversity training sessions over 8 months. The last completion date was... Jesus, never. He's never finished the required certification program. Never completed? Maya's eyebrow arched with dangerous precision. Complete contract violation from his first day of management, Patricia confirmed grimly. Automatic grounds for immediate termination without cause hearings. Marcus's face went from pale to green like seasickness. He gripped the counter desperately, knuckling white with panic. Maya opened the sealed envelope marked restructuring with deliberate ceremony, like a judge unsealing a verdict. The papers inside looked official, comprehensive, and absolutely terrifying in their implications. I've been developing comprehensive new protocols to address systemic bias in our retail operations. Today's incident just provided the perfect real-world case study for implementation. She spread documents across the counter like a general deploying battle plans for total warfare. Effective immediately, full implementation of the Meridian Inclusion Initiative. Zero-tolerance discrimination policy with first offense termination. No exceptions, no warnings, no second chances, no appeals process. Marcus made a strangled sound like a dying animal. Anonymous bias reporting mobile app for customers and employees. Direct encrypted line to corporate legal with guaranteed 24-hour response and investigation. She flipped to another densely typed page. Monthly unannounced store audits by third-party diversity consultants. Management performance bonuses tied directly to inclusion metrics and customer satisfaction scores. Sarah Kim's voice cut urgently through the speaker. Maya, social media impact is escalating exponentially. # Meridian Moment is trending nationally on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. We need immediate coordinated public response. Agreed completely. Rivera will issue a formal public apology within 1 hour. Full corporate statement acknowledging the incident and detailing our comprehensive response. Maya clicked to another screen showing precise financial projections. Cost analysis. Rivera's actions have already generated $67,000 in measurable negative social media impact. That figure will reach 6 figures by midnight tonight. The potential legal exposure, Patricia added with grim certainty, could easily hit 7 figures if other discrimination victims come forward. And based on these performance metrics, they absolutely will. Marcus found his voice, desperate now like a man pleading for his life. Ms. Johnson, please, I'm begging you. I have a family, a mortgage, and car payments. I made one mistake, but I can learn. I can change. One mistake? Maya's voice could have frozen molten steel in January. You spent 15 deliberate minutes systematically humiliating a customer based purely on racial assumptions. You actively recruited staff and customers to participate in the harassment. You threatened to have me physically removed and arrested. She clicked to another screen showing real-time financial impact data. Your racist performance has already cost this company $67,000 in documented negative social media impact. That number will reach 6 figures by tonight's news cycle. The legal exposure alone, Patricia added with prosecutorial grimness, could hit 7 figures if other discrimination victims come forward with similar experiences. And based on these complaint patterns, they absolutely will. Maya stood and walked to the scattered papers still on the floor, evidence of Marcus's opening physical assault. She bent and collected them with deliberate, controlled precision, each motion calculated for maximum psychological impact. Marcus Rivera, pursuant to Employment Contract Section 7.3, subsection C, you are hereby terminated immediately for gross misconduct and contract violation. The words hit like a judge's final gavel sealing a life sentence. Security will escort you from the premises within 30 minutes. Personal items will be boxed and mailed to your address. Your final paycheck will reflect contract termination clauses, no severance pay, no benefits continuation, no positive references. Marcus collapsed into a nearby chair, the fight finally draining out of him like air from a punctured balloon. Please, I'll do anything. Sensitivity training, anger management, community service, unpaid suspension. The time for training was 8 months ago when you deliberately skipped your first mandatory session, Maya replied without a trace of emotion. The time for sensitivity was before you decided to transform customer humiliation into live entertainment. She turned her laser focus to Jennifer, who stood frozen near the designer handbag display like a statue of corporate terror. Jennifer Wells. Your participation was voluntary, enthusiastic, and well documented. However, you weren't the primary instigator of this discrimination incident. Jennifer's face showed the faintest glimmer of desperate hope. Written formal reprimand in your permanent file. 40 hours of mandatory bias training to be completed within 2 weeks. 6-month probationary period with monthly performance evaluations. Any further incidents of any kind result in immediate termination. Jennifer nodded frantically like a bobblehead doll. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I understand completely. Don't thank me yet. Thank the legal fact that you didn't initiate the harassment, only participated. Maya turned to Jerome, who'd been standing at rigid attention throughout the entire corporate demolition. Jerome Washington, 23 years of exemplary service. Spotless record until today's incident. You visibly hesitated when ordered to physically remove me, showing clear moral conflict with your instructions. Jerome's relief was physically visible. No disciplinary action taken. However, mandatory retraining on recognizing and reporting discrimination incidents. I want a comprehensive written report on improved protocols for handling similar situations in the future. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, ma'am. Maya addressed the phone conference with executive authority. Patricia, I want a complete legal review of every complaint filed against this location in the past 24 months. If we discover patterns of systematic discrimination, I want proactive settlement offers prepared immediately. Already initiating a comprehensive investigation, Patricia confirmed. Michael, emergency interim manager placement for this location. I want qualified leadership here within 2 hours to ensure seamless operations during transition. Regional Manager Susan Carter is already en route from Milwaukee, Torres replied efficiently. Sarah, draft our public statement immediately. Full corporate accountability, concrete action steps, absolute commitment to systemic change. I want it released before the evening news cycle begins. Copy that. Working on it now. Maya collected her papers and closed her laptop with absolute finality. She looked directly into the security camera that had recorded every moment of Marcus's professional suicide. Let me be crystal clear to every Meridian employee who will watch this footage. Discrimination in any form will not be tolerated. Not subtle bias, not microaggressions, not honest mistakes. Zero tolerance means exactly that, zero. She picked up her corporate ID badge and clipped it visibly to her blazer like a badge of ultimate authority. Customer dignity isn't negotiable based on appearance. Human respect isn't conditional on spending power or zip code. These aren't gentle suggestions, they're absolute requirements for continued employment. The live stream had reached 26,847 viewers. Comments flooded in faster than servers could process. Leadership in action. This is how you handle systemic bias. change happening in real time, accountability at its finest. Maya turned back to Marcus, who sat slumped in absolute defeat like a deflated balloon. You have exactly 30 minutes to clear your office completely. Security will supervise every moment. Any attempt to access customer databases or employee records will result in immediate criminal charges. She paused, her voice taking on the tone of final judgment day. You asked if I thought I belonged here, Marcus. Let me answer that question definitively. I don't just belong here. I own it here. Every store, every policy, every decision that affects every employee and every customer who walks through these doors. She gestured to the chaos around them. Scattered papers, displaced merchandise, traumatized staff, viral social media coverage. This is exactly what happens when people forget that dignity isn't determined by appearance, respect isn't reserved for the wealthy, and corporate power should never be weaponized to humiliate the powerless. Maya checked her Cartier watch with deliberate precision. 3:47 p.m. Your 30 minutes of remaining employment starts right now. 2 hours later, the transformation was already underway. Maya stood in the exact spot where Marcus had humiliated her, watching emergency protocols unfold with military precision. Regional Manager Susan Carter had arrived from Milwaukee within 90 minutes, taking immediate operational control. Marcus was gone. Security had escorted him out in full view of customers and remaining staff, a deliberate choice Maya made to send an unmistakable message. His keycard was deactivated. His corporate email was terminated. His nameplate was removed from the office door. Jennifer sat at a corner table completing her first mandatory bias training module, fingers trembling as she typed responses to scenarios about respectful customer service. Her phone buzzed constantly with texts from friends who'd seen the viral video, but she didn't dare check them. Jerome stood straighter than he had in months, pride returning to his posture as Maya personally thanked him for his moral instinct to hesitate. The live stream had ended at 28,943 viewers, but screen recordings were spreading across every social platform. # Meridian Moment was trending nationally, generating millions of views and thousands of comments. Maya's phone displayed the real-time impact dashboard Sarah Kim had created. Positive sentiment, 87%, and climbing share rate, 340%, above viral threshold. Brand mention volume, up 2,847% in 3 hours. Stock price, up $2.17 due to leadership demonstration. But the numbers that mattered most were different. Susan, Maya called to the new interim manager, customer feedback in the past 2 hours? Susan checked her tablet. 17 people have come in specifically because they saw the video. All made purchases. Average transaction, $340. Maya nodded. And employee responses? Phone calls from 12 staff members at other locations, all expressing support for the new policies. 3 customers have already used the new bias reporting app to commend our handling of the situation. Maya's phone buzzed with a text from Board Chairman Robert Carter. Board meeting in 1 hour. They want to discuss making your reforms company-wide immediately. She replied, Tell them we're not discussing it. We're implementing it. Tonight. Maya walked to the customer service desk where a new placard had been installed. Meridian Inclusion Commitment. Every customer welcomed with dignity. Report bias. Text. Respect to 555D. IGNITY. The corporate legal machine was already in motion. Patricia Williams had identified 17 other discrimination complaints against the Chicago location dating back 2 years. By 5 p.m., Meridian would offer proactive settlements to every complainant totaling $340,000 in compensation, but preventing millions in litigation costs. The story was spreading beyond retail. Harvard Business School had already contacted Maya about using the incident as a case study in crisis leadership. The NAACP was praising Meridian's swift and comprehensive response to workplace bias. Maya's reforms weren't just words on paper, they were reshaping reality in real time. The Meridian Inclusion Initiative launched at 4:17 p.m. across all 47 stores simultaneously. Every employee received immediate notification of the new zero-tolerance policy. The anonymous reporting system went live at 4:23 p.m. The first report came in at 4:31 p.m. from a customer in Seattle praising their salesperson's inclusive service. Third-party auditing contracts were signed by 4:45 p.m. with 3 diversity consulting firms. Random store evaluations would begin within a week. Management bonus restructuring was implemented immediately. Customer satisfaction and inclusion metrics now comprised 60% of performance evaluations. Maya received a call from CNN Business requesting an interview. She declined, but issued a statement through Sarah Kim. Today's incident represents exactly why systemic change requires immediate action, not gradual reform. Meridian will not tolerate discrimination in any form. Our customers deserve dignity, and our employees will provide it, or they will find employment elsewhere. The statement was picked up by every major news outlet within an hour. Jennifer finished her first training module and approached Maya cautiously. "Miss Johnson?" I wanted to apologize personally. What I did was inexcusable. I let crowd mentality override my better judgment. Maya studied her carefully. "Jennifer, the training you just completed, what was the most important lesson?" That bias isn't always intentional, but impact matters more than intent. And that silence in the face of discrimination makes you complicit. Correct. Your probationary period will test whether you can apply that knowledge consistently. Jennifer nodded earnestly. I understand. Thank you for the second chance I probably don't deserve. You're right, you probably don't. But transformation requires opportunity. Don't waste it. By 5 p.m., Maya had received calls from the mayors of Chicago and New York, both praising Meridian's leadership in addressing workplace bias. The Chicago Tribune was preparing a front-page story titled, "When CEOs Lead by Example." But the most meaningful response came from an unexpected source. A young black woman entered the store hesitantly, approaching Maya directly. "Excuse me, are you the CEO from the video?" "I am. I just wanted to say thank you. I'm a college student, and I've been afraid to shop at places like this because of how I've been treated before. Seeing you handle that situation, it gives me hope that things can actually change." Maya felt something she rarely experienced in boardrooms, genuine emotion. "What's your name?" "Jasmine. Jasmine Washington." "Jasmine, you belong in any store you choose to enter. Your money is as valuable as anyone else's, and your dignity is non-negotiable." Jasmine smiled, tears forming. "Can I hug you?" Maya nodded, and for a moment, the CEO who'd just dismantled systemic bias with surgical precision was simply a woman offering comfort to another woman who'd felt unwelcome in too many places. The hug was captured by Susan's phone and later shared on Meridian's official social media with Jasmine's permission. It received 2.3 million likes and 847,000 shares. As evening approached, Maya prepared to leave the store that had witnessed a complete transformation in less than 4 hours. The marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers, but the atmosphere was entirely different, warmer, more welcoming, charged with possibility rather than prejudice. Jerome approached as she gathered her belongings. "Ms. Johnson, I've been thinking about your question how to handle situations like this in the future." "What did you conclude?" "That my job isn't just security, it's ensuring every person feels secure here. That means speaking up when something's wrong, even if it's uncomfortable." "Exactly right. Your report is due Monday. I expect you to help train other security staff across our locations." Jerome straightened with pride. "Yes, ma'am." It would be an honor. Maya walked toward the exit, passing the spot where her papers had been scattered just hours earlier. Now that space held a new display. Meridian values: respect, dignity, inclusion for every customer, every day. The transformation was complete, but the real work was just beginning. 6 months later, the Meridian miracle was still making waves. Maya stood in the same Chicago flagship store, but the transformation was breathtaking. Customer satisfaction had soared to 4.8 stars, the highest in company history. Revenue had increased 47% as word spread about Meridian's genuine commitment to inclusive service. The bias reporting app had logged 2,847 positive interactions and only 12 complaints across all locations, each resolved within 24 hours. Forbes featured Maya on their cover with the headline, "The CEO Who Changed Retail Forever." Marcus Rivera had found employment at a small electronics store in the suburbs. After 6 months of intensive counseling and bias training he'd paid for himself, he'd written Maya a personal letter. "You gave me the wake-up call I needed. I was wrong, completely, inexcusably wrong. Thank you for stopping me before I became someone I couldn't live with." Maya had responded simply, "Growth requires accountability. I hope you found both." Jennifer Wells had not only survived her probationary period, but had been promoted to Assistant Store Manager of Inclusion, a new position created company-wide. She now trained other employees on recognizing and preventing bias, her transformation becoming a model for redemption through education. Jerome Washington had been promoted to Head of Security Operations for the entire Midwest region. His training protocols were being adopted by retail chains nationwide. The Chicago store had become an unexpected pilgrimage site. Business students, diversity advocates, and executives from other companies regularly visited to study Meridian's inclusion practices in action. But the most meaningful change was harder to measure. Jasmine Washington, the college student who'd hugged Maya that first day, was now a part-time employee at the Michigan Avenue location, working while finishing her business degree. Her presence served as a living reminder that belonging wasn't about background, it was about humanity. Maya received daily messages from customers sharing their experiences. "I brought my teenage daughter shopping yesterday. For the first time, she wasn't followed around or treated suspiciously. Thank you for making retail safe for families like ours. As a transgender woman, I've been afraid to shop at luxury stores. Your staff treated me with complete respect and dignity. I finally felt beautiful instead of judged. My elderly mother uses a wheelchair. Your team went above and beyond to make her feel valued, not burdensome. This is how retail should be." The ripple effects extended far beyond Meridian. 17 other major retail chains had adopted similar zero-tolerance policies after witnessing the positive financial and social impact. The #Meridian Moment video was now required viewing in business ethics courses at over 200 universities. Maya's reforms had proven that doing right and doing well weren't mutually exclusive. They were synergistic. The Harvard Business Review published her case study, "Systemic Change Through Immediate Action: How Crisis Leadership Creates Lasting Transformation." It became the most downloaded article in the publication's history. But Maya measured success differently than most CEOs. She measured it in the confident stride of customers who'd previously felt unwelcome, in the pride of employees who now saw their work as meaningful rather than transactional, in the children who watched their parents shop without fear of discrimination. Change wasn't just policy, it was a possibility made real. Standing in her transformed store, Maya reflected on the lesson that day had taught her. Power without purpose is empty. Authority without accountability is dangerous. Leadership without love for human dignity is simply management. The young woman who'd been humiliated on marble floors had become the executive who proved that respect was not only morally right, it was financially smart. Maya's phone buzzed with a text from an unexpected source, a store manager in Atlanta. "Ms. Johnson, I saw your video when it first went viral. I realized I'd been part of the problem. I've spent 6 months changing how we treat every customer. Our store just won the Regional Service Excellence Award. Thank you for showing us a better way." The transformation was spreading organically, manager by manager, store by store, interaction by interaction. Maya walked to the exact spot where she'd been humiliated, now marked by a small plaque. Every voice matters. Every person belongs. Every moment is an opportunity to choose dignity over prejudice. The plaque wasn't corporate marketing. It was a promise kept every single day, your turn to act. The story of Maya's transformation of Meridian proves that change happens when we refuse to accept discrimination as normal. When we document bias, demand accountability, and support leaders who choose courage over comfort. Have you witnessed discrimination in retail, in restaurants, in your workplace? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience matters, and your voice can inspire others to speak up. Know someone who needs to see this message? Share this video. Let them know that dignity isn't negotiable and that change is possible when we demand it. Want more stories of quiet power overcoming loud prejudice? Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut and hit the notification bell. Because every voice deserves to be heard, every story deserves to be told, and every person deserves to be treated with respect. Remember Maya's words, the most powerful response to being underestimated? Quietly becoming exactly who they feared you were all along. Drop a comment below. What would you do if you witnessed discrimination? How can we create more inclusive spaces in our communities? Your engagement creates change. Your voice matters. Your story could be the one that transforms someone else's world. #Meridian. Moment, dignity can't be discounted. Black Voices Uncut. Inclusion. Inaction. Respect. It's everything.
The story you heard today wasn't cleaned up. It was told exactly as it happened. At Black Voices Uncut, we believe that's the only way truth can live. If you felt something, hit like, comment, and your reaction, and subscribe. Every week, we bring you voices that refuse to be silenced.